Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Art episode 12. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with singer-songwriter Matt Wheeler. Matt and I found each other on social media as a result of having friends in common. From listening to his music, I figured he would have a lot to share on the podcast. So I was really excited when he expressed interest to be on the podcast. This episode was recorded outdoors after his show at the Rockwood Music Hall in the Lower East Side section of Manhattan. I saw him perform, and I am glad I went because it was an intimate setting with beautiful lyrics and beautiful stories. He shared the stage with another singer-songwriter by the name of Max Garcia Conover, whom we made a lot of references to on the podcast, on this episode. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Matt Wheeler. In your face.
You treat me like a criminal, the ghost of some lonely soul, the silent hound on a dark chase. These streets into
Matt Wheeler, welcome to Doing Art.
Thank you for having me.
Good. So you just played a show at Rockwood Music Hall.
Yes.
And I was there.
Yes, you were.
Yes, it was a really nice show. And I learned something. I learned that I could get some other person, split a stage with some other person, literally, you know, alternate, not go after the person or go before the person. So you were playing with another musician, your friend. His name is Max, and I saw that you would maybe play 3 songs and go off the stage, and he would come in and play 3 songs and go off the stage, and there was a fantastic dynamic that I kind of like about that. So my question would be, who came up with that? Who came up with the idea?
I mean, it's roughly based on the whole like Nashville Songwriters Rounds idea.
Oh, cool.
I've done a number of those too, where we'll have 3 or 4 musicians all like sitting on stools and they take turns. They take turns one after the other, and joining each other on songs.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of like that, except that with just 2 people, we decided to make it short sets.
Oh, nice.
I think it was one time I was playing Justin L Cafe in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that one artist I was playing with suggested doing that.
Oh, okay.
Like the 3 songs a piece. I was like, that's great, because you have an opportunity to. I mean, if you only stop in for a short bit, you still hear both artists.
Yes, yeah.
And if you don't like one as much, you only have to wait a little while until someone else is on. So it's fun.
I can see that helping starting out artists who want to have a sizable crowd at their shows. Like if 10 people come to see you and 10 people come to see the other person, you have 20 people in the crowd throughout the whole show, as opposed to saying, oh, Max goes on at 7 and I go on at 8, and then Max gets 10 people that come and leave, and then you get the next 10 people. Yeah,
you don't need the mass exodus there. And it's also nice because usually when I do that, it's with artists who are similar enough to me that that I feel like the other person's fans will enjoy my music and vice versa. And that's really worked out beautifully. Like Max has come and played some house concerts down my way. He's from Maine, but he's come down to Pennsylvania, and we have some mutual friends from down there now, because they've come out to see not only me but also him. In a house concert setting, you really you get to know people a bit. Yeah. So
for people who don't know who Max is, can you say his full name?
Yes, it's Max Garcia Conover. He can tell you more stories as far as like why he has both the last names.
Yeah.
He's from Portland, Maine, originally from near Buffalo area, New York, like a rural area near there. He's based out of Portland, Maine now, and as he said from stage, we met each other it was around Boston at Club Passim
Mm-hmm.
in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
The same trip where my GPS got stolen. I can tell another story.
Yeah.
But and we were putting a songwriters round together, just
Yeah.
like I was just talking about,
Uh-huh.
and it worked beautifully. And we corresponded ahead of time and talked about, like, singing on one of their songs, like at least one or two of them, and we did, and it was cool.
Mm.
And he makes music I really enjoy, and
Mhm.
and he's just a good guy, and we've just stayed in touch. And so
Mhm.
we play a show together 2-3 times a year now. So.
Mhm. Nice. This is not your first time in New York, is it?
No. First time was back in 2013, so I was kind of
Okay.
late, like in getting here.
I see.
What
What do you mean by late?
Well, what I mean is, like, the first time I ever set foot in New York City, I was 32 years old or something like that.
I see.
I mean, I grew up in Indiana, so
Yeah.
it's not anywhere close.
Yeah.
But for years, and even after we got married, my wife would tell me, she's like, whenever New York City would come up, it'd be like, you still have never been? And it's like, no. I'm gonna take you sometime.
Yeah,
And yet,
but you don't have to if you don't have any
It didn't
need
happen.
to, should be.
but yeah, I mean, it's I came up here in 2013 on the way up to Boston, and
Okay.
yeah, it was because I drove in the first time. That was a little hectic, but
Mhm.
every time since, I've taken the train and walked where I'm going, and it's been great.
Oh,
It's-
you took a train from Lancaster here
a
today?
couple of times I have. Back in
Okay.
March and back in January I did.
Oh, okay. How about
Okay.
today?
Today I drove into Jersey City,
Okay.
and then and then just took the PATH train up over this way.
Where are you from?
Well, the short version is I grew up in Fort Worth, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 14, my family moved to North Carolina, where I finished high school.
Oh, okay.
Little culture shock,
Yeah.
coming from a, here's some air quotes, Yankee state, it's because, the Civil War is still alive and well in people's minds down there. But anyway, I said it was going to be the short version.
Wait.
so-
Wait. Is Indiana a Yankee? Is
Well,
it considered
it's not
North?
Southern, so that's...
It's not Southern?
I'm pretty sure it
Oh,
was...
interesting.
I'm pretty sure Indiana wasn't a state when the Civil War was going on.
okay,
Maybe it was
okay.
just becoming a state or a
Yeah.
territory. Whatever the case.
But one thing about Indiana is I think it's the only state that doesn't change time.
Oh, the
time.
daylight saving
Yeah,
time?
the daylight savings time.
Well, all growing up, they
Yeah,
didn't.
they didn't?
There are two other states that don't. It's Hawaii and Arizona
Oh.
that still don't. But Indiana made the decision somewhere in like early 2000s to change over. But yeah, well, I remember it being like the news would be on at 10 o'clock p.m. sometimes, but then like certain parts of the year would be on at 11, and I didn't really understand why, but cause I didn't know anything about daylight saving time. I didn't grow up with it. So yeah, being in North Carolina was the first time I ran into that. And anyway, I finished high school there. I went to college in Virginia. I went to Liberty University in Lynchburg. Lived in Virginia for a while after. Went to Maryland for a job. Met my wife on eHarmony there.
So eHarmony actually works.
Yes, this is a success story.
Okay.
This is one long commercial for eHarmony. No, but yeah, my wife Charity and I met through that.
Okay.
She was finishing up college at the time. I was just a couple years out.
This was where in DC, you said?
No, it was she was going to college just north of Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
What's now called Stevenson University, used to be Village
Okay.
Julie.
Oh, okay.
And I was teaching in Delaware and living in Elkton, Maryland.
Oh, where in Delaware?
It was a Bear.
Bay.
Delaware.
Okay. I know
It's like
Bay.
near Newcastle, south of Wilmington. It's not part of the as the locals call it. It's not part of the slower lower, but it's it's more like the sort of metropolitan northern part of it. So anyway, and yeah, so then my wife's family they're from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got married, it wasn't too long after, a few months after that, I found a job up that way, and we moved, and it's great. It's the first place I'd really say I would call home since we left Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty similar, right down to the fact there are Amish people.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good place.
You already clarified at
the show I
that
did.
you're not Amish. I was going to ask that.
If someone sees a picture of me online, I have a substantial beard and I am not
Yeah.
Amish. And so, despite being from Lancaster County.
Yeah.
So there is more than just Amish people there. And so there's actually a pretty flourishing creative scene. There's a a space of downtown called Gallery Row. Actually, my church meets pretty close to it in an art gallery. And lots of cool cafes and shops and music venues.
Nice.
There's a few different. There's Art Walk weekend that happens twice a year. I mean, basically, it's for a town of 60,000, it has a very outsized creative scene.
Yeah. How did that come about? Because when I was talking to Joy Ike, she was on this podcast on the episode 8. She said she actually considered moving to Lancaster. I'm like, Lancaster?
I know, right?
For music?
I've seen Witness. I don't know why you'd want to move there to play music. But she's not the only musician I know, like Canyon, who's from Westport, Connecticut, so like this general area. Actually recorded her CD in Lancaster and plays shows regularly there in Gettysburg. Like I guess it's, I mean, like, well, in the case of Gettysburg, there's a guy named Rob Simon, Bald Rob from one of the radio stations. He books festivals and shows. One of the festivals is happening now, called Gettysburg Rocks. It's all for charity. Wow. But in Lancaster, it was a combination of things, I guess. I mean, I know that when Rick Gray became mayor, they really made a push for developing downtown, and like a big part of that seems to have been helping fund the arts, and like they do this event called First Friday, which is the first Friday of every month, and especially in the summer. I mean, getting around town is incredibly hard by car, but super easy by foot. And there's so many things to see. You can just walk to.
Nice.
There's things like Launch Music Conference that bring in like people from all over the region to come and play. And there's like 7 different venues, but they're all within walking distance. It's like a baby South by Southwest, like a more accessible one. I mean, there's just a lot of good creative things going on.
Do you think Lancaster is kind of becoming the Nashville of folk music?
Well, that might be a little bit of an overstatement.
Of singer-songwriter
I mean,
music?
It's definitely a flourishing scene for that. I don't know where the scene for that would be otherwise. Like, I don't know if it'd be one of the Portlands or what. But yeah, I mean, it is really good for that. I mean, the fact there are numerous house concert hosts helps, because that's a great place to play if you're for that. There's some small coffee shops, but also like some more like medium-sized venues. There aren't a whole lot of large ones.
Yeah. Do you play a lot of house concerts?
Not as many as I would like. I mean, they're great. I probably play 3 or 4 a year, maybe a little less.
How do you get that? Like, I don't know how.
Right.
Like,
how do you wind up playing someone's house and everyone's listening and you get paid?
Joy seems to be like big into that. Whenever I look at her website,
that is one of her things.
I'm like, how do you get that? How do you get into that?
And to clarify for listeners, Joy Ike is a mutual friend of ours.
Yes, I mean, she's been on the podcast, so we can just in the intro, I'm just going to
absolutely.
Say I mentioned her.
But so for house concerts, I guess I think the first one one of the first ones I played, I'd opened for Dennis and Whitmer in the city, and someone who hosted house concerts just approached me and we kept in touch, and I played their house concert series 5 or 6 times. If Marla and Jen Kipp are listening, they'll be able to.
Okay, this is somebody who he organizes house concerts.
She does, yeah.
Oh, she organizes house concerts. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's not like all that she does, but I mean, she has a living room called she fittingly calls it the green room, because it is painted green.
And she invites people over. Okay.
You mostly in the fall and the winter, maybe early spring.
What does she gain from doing it?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, she doesn't take a cut of the money, at least not the times that I can recall. I mean, she loves to bake, and she makes incredible array of baked goods. The best ones, I think, are the espresso cupcakes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's one nice thing about that particular series is that she has like this core group of her friends that'll come to like every one of those shows.
Wow.
So you don't ever like show up and you're playing just for Marla and her sister. I mean, there's always like, I've played a bunch of times, and like, so some of these same people, I've become fans and listen to my music because, I keep seeing them there. Other ones, I mean, there's some of their formal series. Like there was one called at what was called Woodstove House, where like Jason Mundock, who does that, actually did like he would, he hosted it as a series. He did a podcast around it. But I mean, but sometimes people just do like a one-off house concert. Like Max and I have played a couple of shows at the home of David and Shannon Weaver, just some friends of ours. I first met them through church, and I think they came out to a show that Max was doing, or maybe I just flew to them like, he's coming through town.
Yeah,
I'd love to do a house concert, and they're like, sure.
Wow.
And sometimes I say from stage, even like, if you're not familiar with house concerts, they're easy. Come see me if you'd be interested. And some people actually have, approached me. They're like, that sounds great. So
that's good. That's nice.
So I play them occasionally. I'd love. Some people do house concert tours. I'd love to do that. I haven't managed to string them together too much in cities where I don't live. I did play one up in Portland when I was visiting and playing some shows with Max, and that was cool. But yeah, I mean, as long as you have a person with a place to play, some people that'll come over.
But the person has to be into it. Like you can't just approach somebody and be like, "Can I have a house concert at your house?" So what I'm wondering is, how come there are a lot of people, or there are a sizable number of people who want to do that in Lancaster?
I don't know exactly why that would be something that catches on. I guess maybe it's happening in other cities as well, and I just am more familiar with Lancaster. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's partly because like if you ever go to a house concert, you like I just kind of get bitten by the bug, and you're like this is a great experience for everyone. So that's part of what they gain. I guess anyone who's hosting one, I guess their friend's gonna be like, "Whoa, this person's really cool." maybe there's that, but I mean, but it's a fun time for everyone. Musicians can interact with the fans. And people in the audience can just can literally like make comments to you and sing along. Yes, and there's not many venues where you get that. Yes. Of course, one ground rule for that, really the only rule you have to have, is that when you do the music, that preferably the host points out like, hey, we've all been hanging out, doing this potluck dinner or whatever, eating baked goods. But we're going to go ahead and sit and listen to some music now. So if you need to talk on the phone, you can go out the door there and come back in when you're ready. But we're making this a listening room. And I mean, like, that is something that I think I speak for most musicians in saying that that's something that we really appreciate.
Yes, definitely. Well, so is music your main... the main thing you do now, or the only thing you do?
No.
Okay.
I stay really, really busy because I do work a 40-hour-a-week job. I'm a teacher by trade. Okay. I was a classroom teacher when I met my wife, and I did that for a few years. Currently, I work at Sylvan Learning Center as a tutor, and also parametric testing as a test administrator. Like, if you were taking a test to become a doctor or an insurance agent or a teacher or something like that, you'd likely take a test with us.
Yes, yeah.
So I do
grad
that.
School, GRE.
And of course, I have a wife and I have a son, and I also I do this pretty serious music thing on the side. So
nice. That must be very. I mean, I can't even. I shouldn't say this. I was gonna say I can't even fathom having a child now.
Yeah.
It's just
well, I guess you don't have any kids then.
I don't.
No. Well, I mean, Luke is pretty wonderful, my son. Yeah. But it definitely does change your life.
It changes your life. It's like, I mean, it's not like I don't know how I can do my music, and I don't know. Like
it's funny because Max was just commenting on that from stage when we were playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it takes a very understanding significant other.
True.
Max isn't a dad, but he does. He is married. But so that helps.
Okay.
But I mean, it's trying to like strike some sort of a balance is important.
Yes.
I mean, early on when I was playing shows, I started ramping up the number that I was playing because it started. I would do like one every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But when I started playing more often, definitely went from tension there at first, with trying to split my time and just taking too much time out of the house. But even as busy as I am now, I definitely try to schedule in and make some time that's dedicated to family. So, because I do love them after all.
Yeah.
But I mean, in our case, it helps too that we have my parents and my wife's parents both live like 5 minutes away. So if it turns out that I am busy with work or music and Charity's busy with something, we have built-in babysitters.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that we need to abuse
Yeah.
that, but it's good that we have people around.
Yes.
We have good support network, I guess. So that
makes
helps.
sense. That makes sense.
Supportive spouse,
Yes.
good support network. Those are all.
Yeah.
Support is the key there.
Okay. So let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
How many? You have 2 albums.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One is Strings and
Wires.
Strings and Wires. I listened to that a little bit. And another one is Indigo.
It's a quicker, easier listen. It's
yes.
only like 15 or 16 minutes long, 4 songs.
Indigo is the first one. Is it the first one?
No, actually, the Strings and Wires, I released them both in 2013. Which,
okay. Okay.
It's because Strings and Wires was in the making for like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
We were individually tracking, and schedules just didn't work out so well for a while, and we finally got a little push, did a Kickstarter campaign, and released it. But by that time, I built up so many new songs.
Okay.
Indigo is a little more fully realized.
Okay.
Than Strings and Wires. Although, I mean, they're both. I mean, I'm happy with both of them. I'm proud of them. But yeah, I mean, by the time Indigo came around, it was like I've got all these new songs I really want to have recordings of.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked 4 of them.
Yeah.
Got together in a space called the Candy Factory. It's a co-working space, actually. We were able to use a back room of theirs, set up all of our recording gear, and one evening a few summers ago, we pretty much recorded almost all of it. So,
wow.
That's
the whole 4 songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been awfully hard to do that with Strings and Wires since it's 15.
Nice. Wow. Have you had tours? Have you had
tours?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I haven't ever been on like a long tour. I mean, like, usually I've had a couple of 2 or 3 times now where I've strung together like 2 or 3 dates. Last September was probably really the closest thing to a tour I'd say I've had. Well, both times I've been up in New England, I guess I'd call that. But when I was up in September, I played a show at a place called Blue. I played a house concert. I played a radio show.
Yeah.
And then that was all in like the New Hampshire, Maine area. And then I came down to Connecticut with Max.
Yeah.
And played a show in New Haven.
Oh, okay.
So I was gone like not quite a week.
Yeah.
And I have something else coming up in October. I'm going to the CD Baby DIY Musician Conference.
Oh, nice.
Out in Chicago.
Nice.
And I was able to reach out to some folks, and so I booked a show there.
Yeah.
That'll be
in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Chicago. I got some family around there, so I'm staying there. And then I'm also playing a show at Sweetwater Sound in my hometown of Fort Wayne, Indiana, on the way back. So I'm like, it went from like I think I might go to this conference to. Now I've got 2 shows around it. I'm going to see a bunch of like old family and friends. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean it. Like the whatever like a week-long tour is probably like the longest I've ever done.
I see.
It's my long answer to your question.
I wanted to ask you a question because it seems like you're kind of both of us were like in similar boats, not the same boats.
Right.
Because I also
have a kid, we know that.
No, I don't have a kid. I'm not married. So, and I'm also a teacher. I teach in a college, and that's my day job. And I worked really hard to in my doctorate degree, so I don't know if I'll be able to.
I didn't know you were a doctor.
Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, and so I want to understand because sometimes I get scared about this.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had to put in some money into your music, like you had to like fearlessly. But maybe reluctantly at the same time, had to make some sacrifice financially to help your music. How do you gauge how far you could go? Because for me, sometimes I just say to myself, well, I'm doing this for me. For right now. If I had a child, maybe I would be more careful. But now I'm just gonna do it.
Right.
And worry about it later on. Then you have a child, you have a family.
Yeah.
I want to hear your perspective. How do you gauge when to stop? Like,
Yeah.
Because when you tour like that, sometimes you end up spending more money than you make from the tour.
Sometimes so, yeah. That's especially if you're just like breaking new ground in an area you haven't been.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when I started off, one thing, I'm a relentless networker, and it's not because like I'm trying to like use people or anything. It's just I love meeting new people. The way we met, of course, I was like, wow, this podcast is cool. Like he's got Joy on there, it must be pretty legit. And and so seriously, and so why don't I reach out? I mean, social media is a wonderful thing that way. And when you find that you have like 30 people in common, you're like, I don't think we met in person, but I just want to reach out because we might cross paths.
Yes.
And many times I've met people that way.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a tangent, but I mean, like I guess the first time I recorded anything would have been with my church. We did a project of original music. It's called Veritas, music from our community.
Okay.
But there was a friend of ours who had recording gear, like a studio in his basement that we were able to use.
Mm-hmm.
And so it started off like that. And when I recorded with my other band, August to October, our lead guitarist also did the recording engineering. I guess it wasn't until Strings and Wires that much money was really required. Which of course was the first like full-on album I did, but with that one, I mean, like I did still have some help from friends in a big way. Yeah. But I also did a Kickstarter campaign that raised the money for it.
Mm-hmm.
When we did Indigo, by that point, I started to be earning enough money with music that I was able to fund it just through music earnings. I opened a separate checking account for where my music earnings go. And so now, like with recording this new one, part of what's going to determine when it happens, because some things are starting to fall into place. Yeah, is going to be like when I have enough money in that account to do it.
Oh, I see.
So I found that establishes a much better balance.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to go out of town and I'm going to spend some money on that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, like when I went to Maine. Yeah. Pretty much all, if not all, of the expenses from that came out of the music earnings.
I see.
And that certainly helps keeps things happier at home too. It's not like, whoa, we were totally going to use that on, on diapers. We're going to use that on tuition or something. It's like, well, I mean, if I'm spending the money, it's because I earned it doing the same thing I'm going to be
I see.
doing.
True.
So
True.
It's
true.
I mean, it's not really just a hobby for me anymore, but it is something that does. It pays for itself and then some, which is great. So
would you ever reach a point where you would want to just do only music?
I'd love to.
Okay.
At this point, I figure it would take a substantial amount of traveling. Although I've started to get some pretty good paying gigs. Like it's nice to play like a corporate gig or something like that. But most of the people I know who are doing music full time aren't married with small children. Yeah. like Joy is able to make it work because it's just her. Mm-hmm. And Max, he was a teacher as well. Yeah. And then went into doing music full time. Mm-hmm. And he's married but doesn't have any kids. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know a lot of people in my boat where they're able to make it work that way. But yeah, so it's I ought to send you a link, or maybe we can put it in the show notes or something. There's this article on this website called Mental Floss. Okay. It's something like I think it's like 11 very well-known artists who never quit their day job. Like Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula, continued to work. Like I think he was operating a theater. T.S. Eliot, never stopped being a banker. Carlos? Yeah. William Carlos Williams, that was his name. Mm-hmm. He was a doctor. He's a well-known poet, writer. Mm-hmm. But his full-time gig, pretty much his whole life was being a doctor.
A doctor.
So I mean, it's interesting to see some people don't ever go full-time.
Yeah,
with it.
That gives me hope because I don't know how to ever have to quit my day job. Something would be lacking in me. I love music. Yeah. Whenever I don't do music whenever I don't play a gig for a month, I feel like something is missing.
You have that outlet.
Yes.
Right.
I love it. But at the same time, I can't imagine a life where I wouldn't be in a classroom teaching math.
Right.
You know, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll just have to figure that out.
Yeah, it's, I guess, I mean, one nice thing about it not being my full-time gig is that you know, there's not the pressure on. Like,
yes, that's
it's not like, oh man, I only played 2 gigs this week.
Yeah.
You know, and one of them I made like $10.
Yeah.
Like how am I gonna make my car payment?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But whereas, like, you know, now if I make the money, it's like this is great because it's not really just something extra, but it's like, you know, that affords me a chance to be able to put it back into the music.
Yeah.
And yet I still have a steady income. Something that's much more stable.
Yes. And apart from the income, there's something else I realized about having a daytime job.
Yeah.
It allows me to do the kind of music I want to do.
Exactly.
Because I'm not trying to prove anything anymore. I'm not trying to I would love to be successful, but to be famous, but at the same time I don't have that pressure of being huge. You know, I just want to do the kind of music and please the people who like the kind of music I'm doing.
Yeah, that is one huge benefit of that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and you don't have to there's not the pressure. You can write what you want to write. You don't have to like have a certain amount of output or else you're stuck. You don't have to it's I mean, it'd be great to do it full time, but it'd be nice to be able to do it full time out of something steady. My friend Denny Goche from up in Canada, he also like produces, and he's a studio bassist besides doing his own music thing.
Nice.
And he goes on a lot of short tours, and he's got 4 kids, 5 kids. I think it's 4 kids.
I don't know how people.
If Denny's
do
listening, I'll have to amend that, but I believe it's 4 kids.
Cool.
And I mean, it's possible to make that sort of thing work, but it's you know, it's nice not to have that pressure too.
Yes. Yeah.
But still to be able to, you know, do some things to get some notice. You know, it's cool to hear my music on the radio, but I don't have to think like, oh man, you know, I wonder what kind of royalties I'm gonna get from that. I wonder how many spins they're gonna be.
Yeah, true.
It's more like
worrying about your chatting, you know, because I just feel like when that's the only thing you do, you worry about validation. In addition to worrying about the money, your mind is always on how do people see your music. I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
I want to know, have you had your best gig and your worst gig ever?
Best gig and worst gig.
Yeah.
Let's see. Probably my best one was in Lancaster at a place called Tellus 360, one of my favorite venues there, during Launch Music Conference.
What's it called again?
Tellus 360.
Okay.
TELLUS. 360.
Nice.
It's an odd name, but
I like it.
But a really great music venue, art gallery, Irish pub sort of thing. It's
awesome.
It's a lot of things rolled into one. It's kind of hard to describe. But, I guess it was, man, I might have like a 3-way tie for my best gig. Well, yeah, this particular one, we had the full 5-piece band. We actually even had a backing vocalist join us. It was a pretty full room. Like, people were attentive. I mean, it was fantastic. You know, we covered the Leonard Cohen song Hallelujah at the end.
Okay.
It was like wee hours of the morning on Easter, actually, because it ran over into Sunday.
Yeah.
And like everyone's singing Hallelujah along with us. It was like, this is really cool.
That's cool.
Other ones, when I went up to Boston and played the songwriters round up at Club Passim that I referred to earlier, where I met Matt and Max, that was a pretty memorable evening.
Nice.
I had another one I was gonna say would be in a 3-way tie with that, but I forget. So, but those two were two of my favorites.
How about your worst? Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
Worst ones. Oh man. Well, man, I feel like I've had a bunch of times where I've been playing to like, you know, like almost no one. Or the people aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, like I played a couple of corporate gigs that actually paid really well.
Yeah.
Down back in Pennsylvania, but. And I was grateful to get the money, and that helps make it to where I can play ones where I don't get paid as much.
Yeah.
But both of those, and especially the second one, I felt like no one was listening.
Yeah.
Like they might as well have just had like a CD player on or something. But with the first one of those two, I was telling you about it earlier off mic, where like I didn't think people were paying attention, and then when I finished, people had a lot of nice comments. They bought some CDs.
Okay.
I was, I was rolling my gear out, and a bunch of them were gathered on the bar near the exit there, and they saw me leaving, and they were like, "Hey, great job!" And everyone like gave me an ovation.
Good.
It's like.
But while you were
you
playing,
guys really do love me.
but while you were playing,
while I was playing, it was feeling pretty terrible. And the second one, I didn't have that the same experience of everyone like coming up after. It was kind of like, anytime like that where it's just a background thing is rough. Or the time that we played Make Music Philly, not this year but last, with my drummer and my violinist, I had car problems like. The radiator hose blew out. We were supposed to play at Hard Rock Cafe as part of the festival. We ended up getting there late. We parked in a parking garage a good distance away. We were in the world's tiniest elevator, it seemed, with all of our gear packed like sardines. And ended up, I mean, that was looking like it was going to be the worst ever, but it ended up being pretty decent when we actually played. But, I mean, there may be some worse ones going on that maybe I blocked out of my memory. I don't know, but... I played plenty of coffee house shows where I feel like I was playing for the staff, especially early on.
It's reached the point like, I've had those kind of shows, but I noticed that at the end, maybe what makes a good show is not necessarily the number of people.
Oh, absolutely!
There.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, because I've had I've had a show where. I came in and there were 7 people there, and I started playing. The 7 people, like at my first song, 5 of them stood up and left. They hadn't hit I haven't even started, and they were leaving. I'm like, why are you guys leaving? They're like, oh, we have to go. We gotta go. We've been here for like 2 hours. So I ended up playing for 3 people for the first 2 songs, actually. And then later on, more people came in, but my spirit had already been dampened by the fact that I was playing to just 3 people.
Yeah.
But at the end, I ended up having about 15 people. At the end of the night.
Considerably more.
Yeah, considerably more. And when I came out, I had the same kind of response that you got from the corporate gig people. Everybody was, and I look at my tip bucket. I got $75.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah, I definitely feel, and I kind of pointed this out when I played over Rockwood here, was, I'd rather play for a small group that they're engaged and they care than like being background music and no one cares. Yeah. If you're talking about validation, I mean, like what you experienced there was the opposite of validation.
Yeah.
While you were talking, it tripped in something in my mind where the first year I played Launch Music Conference. I was just saying, like, playing a Talos 360 for Launch Music Conference 2014 was one of my best gigs. Well, one of my worst was the first year I played there. We were supposed to be playing at this outdoor space called Simon Park. It would have been beautiful, like this brick courtyard with a waterfall and people dining. Well, they thought it was going to rain, so they moved us to the backup space. It didn't rain, by the way. Yeah. At least not during that time. And so they moved us to what they called the back lobby of the convention center. It was really more like a big hallway. We had to move our own, like we found some seats and moved them over to where we were playing. They had a sound system, but there was some feedback and things. So we tried to make the best of it. And like the worst part was that we were like right through the doors, like maybe 30 feet away, 20 feet away. Yeah. Were the metal acts that were playing on a big stage. So like when the doors were shut, you just heard like a dull rumble. But whenever someone came in or went out and the door opened,
oh my gosh, you hear like this huge sound.
And the most notable one of those was I was playing my song Number 8, which is a song like this lullaby type song, a sweet song for my son. And it's like, summer came and then someone opens the door and you go, and the door shuts again. Like Roman candles in the sky. I mean, I was like, I was stifling laughter because it's
I
like,
see.
this is so absurd.
Yes.
You know, and on top of it, it was a festival gig and we weren't being paid either. So it was like,
oh my gosh.
it's not all about money, but
Yes.
it's like when you have a bad experience
understand.
and you don't get paid,
Yeah, I know.
it's like an insult to injury. So
yeah. Well, I want to ask. I have one question I want to ask you.
Sure.
I've asked several variations of this question to different people in the podcast, but this is the most popular way that I ask it. What does success mean to you in your art, your music?
yeah, that can be hard to define. I feel like it's sort of a thing that's kind of shifted and changed and continues to do so. I mean, I guess ultimately I want to be making good art that somehow encourages people and like or challenges them. In some cases in my songs, that's what it is. Like, I want to make good art that people are going to appreciate, and I mean that's a really nebulous sort of goal. But I mean, like, you know, I want to play more shows that I would consider good ones than bad ones. But you know, it's I want to continue to improve at what I do.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like that's
true.
There's been progress as I've went.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. I want to feel like, you know, if I go back and listen to something I recorded way early on. I know Joy was talking about this. Like, doesn't want to acknowledge her first album or two. Like, well, I made something called the Ash EP that I would kind of put in that category too.
Okay.
When I say I have 2 albums out, I have some other projects that I did before, but kind of cutting my teeth.
Yeah.
Not they're like straight embarrassing, but it's more like I look back at them and I'm like, wow, I really have done this a lot more and I've really improved. So, I mean, you know, what's success? I mean, like, having some level of validation and notoriety, I won't lie, is really nice. You know, if a radio station will play a song or play a high-profile gig, that's really nice. I mean, it's kind of like, I still sometimes feel like, you know, I have a really good show and then like afterwards, like, you're going to pay me for this too?
Yeah.
But I mean, I got my head on straight about the business end of it, but there's the New York City
I know.
salute right there.
Yes. Let's just keep talking.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be making good art that I honest music that you know, gets better over time.
Yeah.
And if people want to listen and, you know, take notice of it and share it with people, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen enough that I feel like I'm on the right track that way.
And one thing we don't know, or one thing we people fail to understand, and I feel like as artists, we're people who people who believe in their art, kind of intrinsically, without, like, just naturally know that it doesn't come overnight.
Oh, absolutely.
We all know, you know, nobody tells us that, but we know that we have to work for it. But sometimes people around you don't know that. Sometimes people on Facebook, people who watch you don't know that it doesn't come overnight. So, but they still, after a while, they still make you start thinking like them, like, when is this gonna happen? When is this gonna pop? You know, when am I gonna start making the big gigs and stuff like that?
I think a lot of people think that it's like, you know, you're gonna be playing a show somewhere and some, you know, record label executive's gonna be there and be like, I'm gonna make you famous.
No,
I mean,
no, unless you're a 17-year-old girl, 17-year-old.
Yeah, well, I mean, go on American Idol or The Voice.
Exactly.
But even that, the nice thing about the music industry, the way it is now, it's so much easier to do a lot of things independently.
Yes.
You know, make good sounding recordings by your, you know, either on your own or like with people you know.
Yes.
And to distribute them, you don't necessarily need the whole corporate machine. Man, you were talking about, like, it takes a while to develop your craft and get to where you like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Ira Glass's short speech about that?
Ira Glass,
guy from NPR.
Yeah.
This American Life.
I listen to This American Life, but I've not heard about his.
Well, this particular one, it's
a particular episode.
Well, he probably talked about it on the show on This American Life. But if you look up on YouTube, Ira Glass and I'm not even. I've seen like a lyric video for it, and I actually showed it at this one songwriting class I was speaking at.
Yeah.
At a local college. It's very similar to something you just hit on, where it's that when you go into creative pursuit, people. You go into it because you have good taste in that area usually.
Yes.
You know what's good, but when you start off making whatever kind of art, whether you're painting or making radio like he does, or making songs like we do, it's not good at first. And almost and you hear interviews with like artists pretty much across the board. Yeah. They refer to like their really early songs are pretty much always like, I never want to go back to thinking about that. I want to forget about that. But I mean, those were you have to stick with it through that. Yes. And so many people give up before they get through that.
I see.
And if you do stick with it,
that's a good perspective.
Yeah. I mean, so many people if they do just keep on doing it. Yeah. Like with songwriting, I had been writing poetry and I picked up 6-string guitar like late in college and started melding them together. But like, those original songs weren't great. But a lot of people would have stopped there. But I'd say like, I'm only gonna get better at songwriting if I keep doing it. So I had just enough hope going on with that, and then it got better to where like I started liking what I heard and felt comfortable letting other people hear my original work, because that requires being pretty vulnerable. Yeah. Nice. So I mean, but you're right. People around you don't always understand that process either. But I mean, it's believing in yourself, like all the cliched things. But it's true.
It's true. I mean, cliches are true. That's why they're cliches.
Yeah, that's why they keep getting said. Exactly. I mean, I think it was Joy on her Grassroots blog who said before that, you have to conduct yourself and present yourself as a professional, especially like as you start getting more gigs and start getting more confident with what you're doing. You have to present yourself in a professional way, because if you don't, no one else is going to take you that way. I mean, there's definitely a place for humility. You don't be a jerk about it, but you take yourself seriously. Just like you were doing another job and someone hired you for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So we're going to have a little game here. This game is called Turn Up or Mute. Okay. Maybe you had it when. Okay.
I like the concept a lot. So.
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
I don't know if anybody you don't know about anything you don't know, just say you don't know it. Then I will go to the next one. I don't have a lot, but so I hope you know everything.
Okay.
Derek Trucks. Do you know him?
Who?
Derek Trucks. He's a guitar player.
Derek Trucks?
Yeah. How about Susan Tedeschi?
Trucks Tedeschi band.
Yeah.
I'd say turn it up.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not like, I don't know a lot of their music, but I mean, they're very good at what they do, and it's one of my favorite shows is Austin City Limits, and like sometimes I'll run across artists that I have sort of heard of, like along the vein of the Trucks Tedeschi band, and but I'll tune in and like, wow, they're really good at what they do here. So I wouldn't put them in the mute category. I don't know them well, but
okay, cool.
I did not see that one coming.
Yeah. How about John Mayer?
John Mayer.
Okay,
I'm gonna go with the mute unless it's his very first album. I mean, he's very. I mean, he's not just some pop star.
Yeah.
He legitimately is a very good guitarist.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, and I respect that. I just can't say I really get into much of his music.
I couldn't. There's one of his songs I really like though. But I like that song because I heard somebody else do this song. Yeah. And then I discovered it was John Mayer's song. And then I listened to his... I loved the version I heard. Then I listened to his version. I'm like, okay, I still like it. It's called My Stupid Mouth.
Yeah. I think I've heard of that one.
Okay. I like this
I want to say it's one of his earlier ones.
Yeah.
Like his song, The Real World, I think was the name of the first single he had.
Okay.
Yeah, I just found out there's no such thing as the real world. Just a lie, you've got to rise above. So yeah, at some point he probably would have been a turn up. Okay. I mean, but it's gently mute. Like if he's playing, if he's on Austin City Limits, I'll watch it. If a song,
if don't let him listen to this podcast.
I mean, if Daughters is playing in a grocery store, I'll listen to it. In fact, if he wants an opening act in this region, I'd be happy to play, John. So please forgive me for what I said about you.
He's a good. He's all around. He's good. Yeah.
Let's change that to a turn up.
Huh?
Let's change that to a turn up.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm gonna do a turn up, I hope everything is well now, John.
Turn it up.
But, if I'm gonna turn up for Tedeschi Trucks, I've definitely heard more. I've listened to more John Mayer albums.
I see.
And I've actually owned a John Mayer album.
Yeah.
3x5 is another good song of his.
Cool.
Why Georgia?
Do you watch Netflix?
Oh yes.
Okay. House of Cards.
Mute. I like all the cable drama stuff.
Yeah.
Like the.
Did you watch House of Cards?
I haven't watched it.
Yeah. Okay. Don't say mute then.
Okay. Well, so I haven't seen.
Right,
but just to give you some perspective. Well, one, I don't have cable, so Netflix is one of the few things.
Yeah.
That and Hulu are like the things that I watch. YouTube, but
let's leave it as mute. But go watch it.
Maybe incomplete. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I could not care less about any of those shows. Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Whatever.
I just
don't.
Yeah. Okay. House of Cards mute. How about Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Mute for sure.
Mute. Okay.
He's I mean, the GOP debate happened just a little while ago.
Okay.
And a couple nights ago. And the fact that he is leading for the GOP nomination, it's like I'm waiting for someone. I'm waiting for Ashton Kutcher to pop out and be like everybody's on pump. It's like, we're just kidding, guys. We're not for real. I mean, the guy's a walking soundbite, but I mean, no one takes him seriously as a political candidate. I don't think.
Okay.
Do they?
I totally agree with what you're saying, but I have to say something about the Trump phenomenon. First of all, I have to say I don't like Donald Trump. I've always thought he's a douchebag. I've always thought, call him any kind of name. I agree with you.
Right.
But I think he's exposing something.
How about a clown?
Anything. Call him anything. I agree with you. But I feel like
the celebrity culture? Or
No. He's exposing something in politics, in the political system of America. Okay. We have a system where, I mean, anybody who is a citizen but of a certain age can become president, or can essentially become president. But it turns out that we've had, so far, at least in my years in this world, the politicians I've seen up until Donald Trump emerged have been cookie cutter politicians.
He is outside the mold.
Yes. So
I am morbidly curious what will happen with this. I will say that.
That's what I'm saying. And then it turns out that this guy, who is just crazy, who says whatever comes to his mind, doesn't apologize for anything, is leading in the poll.
Yeah.
What does it say? It says two things, which these are my conjectures. None of them is scientifically proven. But one thing it says, I think it says, is that Americans don't care for the cookie cutter politicians. It's like Americans are actually cool. Maybe at least people in the GOP are actually cool with somebody who just says his mind, no matter how crazy the person is, as long as they can relate to the person. Secondly, maybe we're getting it wrong. Maybe there shouldn't be money. Money shouldn't be too much involved in the political system. Because this guy is a very rich guy, and he's out there just saying whatever, and he's still leading in polls because he's rich. Right. So I feel like I don't like him, but I'm happy he's exposing something. I'm learning something.
In that sense, yes. Well, I don't know how much you're into sports, but before college football went to the current playoff series. Series, whatever. Yeah, the system is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people, especially Mike Wilbon from Pardon the Interruption on ESPN, one of my favorite shows. Yeah. They were rooting for while it was still this BCS system that seemed patently unfair.
Yeah.
Especially to smaller schools. He was rooting for chaos.
Yeah.
He was like, I hope we get two schools that are both, like we get two schools that both deserving to be a national championship, but it doesn't work because of this flawed system we have.
Yeah.
Like basically, it's like I hope that like something so chaotic happens that blows up the system and we get the playoff we want. I kind of feel like that might be true with Donald Trump.
You think so?
It's like we get so much chaos in here that
maybe
it just blows up.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not
just
necessarily
feel like
rooting for that, but
I'm not rooting for that either. But I just feel like it's very interesting. I feel like he's exposing something that we haven't been seeing. Like he's making us realize something about the system we have. So that's what I think.
He's a little bit of a breath of fresh air in a very, very strange way.
But the people who are revolutionaries, even though in this case it's just incidental, maybe he's not planning to be a revolutionary, but people who make us realize certain things are not necessarily the best people. They come in all sort of forms. Sometimes, so that's
he's. I bet that the GOP debate got a lot higher ratings than they have in a lot of
because of him
in decades probably.
Yeah.
Because he was just so out there. You never know what he's gonna say. I mean, there's at least that appeal going for him. So.
Okay, two more or three more. Let's make it quick. The Eagles,
turn up.
Turn up. Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I'm not from there. I'm a Colts fan.
Okay.
Being from Indiana, but. I mean, they're sort of like an adopted home team. Like, I wouldn't consider myself an Eagles fan, but if they're playing a team and I don't know, like, I'm not rooting for the other team, I'll root for them.
You root for them.
I don't know what they're doing right now, though.
Okay. Broccoli and cheese soup.
Oh, big turn up.
Turn up.
Oh, I like that is like as much as like Panera Bread, which their broccoli cheddar soup is especially good.
Yeah.
In fact, even despite the fact that I think that I like their food, it's generally overpriced. The only reason I keep coming back is because they have that soup.
Interesting.
It's like, there's a Panera Bread in my plaza where I work. But yeah, I mean, it's just so good, especially when it's cold out.
Yeah.
You just get a little baguette there too. I mean, it's a good hearty soup, but I'll eat it any time of year.
I don't get that. You don't
get broccoli cheese soup?
No.
Do you like cheese?
I don't know why anybody would make soup with broccoli and cheese. But let's leave it at that.
Well, maybe it's just greater than the sum of its parts. I don't know. It involves cheese, which I mean, pretty much you have cheese in it. You can sign me up. But especially broccoli and cheese soup. I didn't like it as a kid. As an adult, it's my favorite soup.
Nice.
Besides maybe French onion.
Okay.
So
the last one. Good. Last one, traveling.
Turn up.
Okay.
I enjoy traveling. Like even with the trip coming up here, I enjoy I enjoy being in new places. I enjoy figuring out how I'm gonna get from one place to another. Discovering little gems. Last couple times I was up here, I went record shopping. And I went to Katz's Deli and ate a salami sandwich, the size of my head, basically. I thought you were gonna ask me about turn up or mute for math because I know you asked Joy that.
For math. Math.
Oh, bonus rounds.
Turn up. Oh, okay,
I
cool.
like math.
All right, nice.
I got a degree in social sciences.
Okay.
Taught social studies.
Yeah.
I've always liked English and things like that. But since tutoring at Sylvan,
I
found I really like tutoring in math. Like I've even tutored some people. 2 different times I tutored someone in trig, even though I never had it. Because I feel like now if I went back,
then you must be you must have a good math brain.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact as much as I love words. And literature
Mm-hmm.
and things like this. Like as you heard when you're at my show, I have songs that are based off of, fiction novels.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's so hard to quantify that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is one word better than another in an analogy? Yeah, but. I mean, but like you're doing an equation in algebra or solving a function.
Yeah.
Like, this is the answer, and it has to be the answer. Or these sets of numbers. I mean, there's not other choices.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's concrete.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And it's like working out a puzzle and problem solving. So.
Mm-hmm.
So hats off to you as a math professor.
Thank you.
I definitely. I think that's good. So.
Nice. Thank you. All right. So do you have by the way, this next, I told you about an embarrassing story. I call it NYD for no, you didn't. It's a story an embarrassing story that you caused yourself. So that's something that happened to you.
Yeah, I was
embarrassing.
I mean, I'm sure
it's all your fault.
many things that have been embarrassing in my life. The one that came to mind, though, I would say is, so I went to a small private Christian school in Indiana in 9th grade, and I was on the basketball team. Honestly, I'm not a great athlete, never really was, but I was on the team mostly because there was only so many people at the school, I think. Yeah. And so we were playing this game. I want to say it was homecoming. I know it was like at a college gym, which was kind of unusual for us. And I had been warming the bench like pretty much the entire game. Like I hadn't gone in. I don't think I'd taken any shots. Yeah. And the coach looks over at me at one point and tells Dory Roth. I remember she tells me go in and we need you to foul the guy who gets the ball. Now that's normal basketball strategy, right? Well, I don't know why I took it this way, but so the guy gets the ball like right around half court, and I remember him being a fairly big guy, like a big for a point guard at least. And I just reared back and shoved him with both hands, like, and you know, he's like reeling back, like, what's going on? And of course they tee me up. They give me a technical foul. Oh my god! I think like everyone's laughing. Yeah. I'm embarrassed, but also like I can laugh about it now. I think I might have seen the humor that evening, but it was like, but I still felt pretty stupid. It's like, oh, you wanted me to just like slap his hand or something. You didn't want me to like, you know, shove him into next week. It's and of course it being like a homecoming game, there was a bigger crowd than usual, and so I like, you know, a friend of mine from back then reminded me of it just recently. It's my gosh, that's a huge embarrassment. He's like, tell me you remember that. It's like, yep, I do. I had forgotten until you reminded me.
What did the coach say?
I mean, I felt like in the end it was sort of a comic relief moment for everyone because I think we were down by a pretty good amount. Okay. I don't remember distinctly what the coach said. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was something to the effect of, I just meant a foul, not a technical foul. The one and only technical foul I got in my entire
For people who don't know basketball, you want to explain how that would have, how fouling somebody?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
why she would ask you to do that?
She asked me to foul a guy because, well, I forget the exact situation, but it was probably something to the effect of like, we wanted to stop the clock, and put him at the free throw line. You know, it was late in the game, or at least late in the half, and so we wanted to put them at the free throw line so they could go ahead and take their shots, and we could get the ball back, so we could score, and hope that they would miss their shots too. So sending someone in to foul or asking someone to commit a foul is not unusual. Yes. Yeah. But you don't usually ask someone to commit a technical foul. A technical foul would be one that is overly aggressive, you know, deemed as not permissible by the refs. And if you commit 2 technical fouls, at least in the NBA, you get booted from the game. So I mean, I didn't commit another technical foul or anything, but
that's good.
That was pretty embarrassing at the time.
Wow.
Really funny now, but really, I felt like a complete idiot. So
that's cool.
I was like, I did what you told me to do. And, well, maybe a little too well. Anyway.
Wow. You know what's not a technical foul? Your artistry. And you being on doing art.
MattWheelerOnline.com is my website. Okay. It's the hub for everything. Yeah. I'm on Facebook. It's not hard to search and find. Look and find like a mid-30s guy with a beard and a guitar, and you pretty much got it. Okay. Well, actually, right now, I my profile picture is a picture of Claude Monet because someone said I looked like him, the French artist. Okay. And I think they're probably sort of right. Yeah. Anyway, also I'm on Twitter, on Instagram. Okay. Both of those, it's Matt Wheeler VH. Okay. Yeah, I mean, got SoundCloud and all sorts of other things. So yeah, most of the social things, you search for Matt Wheeler, and you find it's someone from Pennsylvania and has a beard, it's probably me.
Yeah, all right. Matt Wheeler, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
You treat me like a criminal, the ghost of some lonely soul, the silent hound on a dark chase. Ooh. moon splits these streets in two, the light and the shade between me and you. In a different world, we could have been brothers. I'm a man acquainted with pain, crying out to the heavens again. Should I run to the river, run to the river? Run to the river, run to the river. Is there a beast by the river, beast by the river? Through the streets of Paris we fled, guilty only of stealing bread, protecting my lark, guarding my beloved. I'm a man acquainted with pain, crying out to the heavens again. Should I run to the river, run to the river? Run to the river, run to the river. Beast by the river, beast by the river. So I whispered to her, hold on to me, hold on to me. So I whispered to her, hold on to me, hold on to me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a man acquainted with pain, crying out to the heavens again. Should I run to the river, run to the river? Run to the river, run to the river. Is there a beast by the river, beast by the river? Is there a beast by the river, beast by the river? Painted over the rust, but it still shows, it still shows. I got nothing but time on my hands, and this heavy load, heavy load. Sure could use someone to walk beside me now. So pull up a stool, help me talk this out. 'Cause I'm walking down this road, carrying more weight than I can hold. I don't always see things black and white, but I assure you that I am leaning toward the lights. Carrying more weight than I can hold alone. Covering over the scar, I tried to hide, try so hard to hide. Failed more times than I can count, but I have tried Lord knows I've tried. Sure could use someone to walk beside me now. So pull up a stool, help me talk this out. 'Cause I'm walking down this road, carrying more weight than I can hold. I don't always see things in black and white, but I assure you that I am leaning toward the light. I'm walking down